Hello, welcome to Agile in a Nutshell. I'm your host, Jonathan Rasmussen. Today we're going to take a look at Agile Planning, how it works, how to create your own Agile plan, and basically give you a strategy for dealing with change. But first, let's take a look at something that doesn't work, static plans. Has this ever happened to you? Your project starts off beautifully. You've got the perfect team, the right technology, the perfect plan, and for the first couple weeks of your project, life couldn't be better. And then all of a sudden, bam! Your team changes. You think, ouch, that hurts. But it's okay, we've got time, we can handle this. And then all of a sudden, kapow! You realize you aren't going as fast as you thought. Rats. What you thought you and your team could do turned out to be two different things. And then it's just about halfway through the project, zam! Your customer discovers what they really want. That simple, easy to build web app suddenly looks a lot more daunting and complex. And then the bomb really goes off. Boom, your schedule changes and you run out of time. If this story hits close to home, take comfort. You aren't alone. Changing teams, reduced schedules, and changing requirements are the norm for any interesting software project. To deal with these realities, what we need is a way of planning that delivers value, is highly visible, lets us make promises we can keep, and enables us to adapt and change when necessary. Enter the Agile Plan. In its simplest form, Agile Plan is nothing more than measuring the speed a team can turn user stories into production-ready software, and then using that figure to figure out when they'll be done. Our to-do list on an Agile project is called the Master Story List. It contains a list of all the features our customers would like to see in their software. The speed at which we turn user stories into working software is called the team velocity. It's what we use for measuring our team's productivity and for setting expectation around delivery dates. The engine for getting things done is the Agile iteration, 1 to 2 week sprints of work where we turn user stories into production-ready working software. Now, to give us a rough idea about delivery dates, we take the total effort of our project, divide it by our estimated team velocity, and calculate how many iterations we think it'll require to deliver our project. This becomes our plan. Now, it's really important to understand that our first project plan isn't a hard commitment. It's a guess. We don't know our team's velocity at the beginning of the project, and until we build something of value and measure how long that takes, we won't know how realistic our dates are looking either. Treating initial project plans as hard commitments is what kills projects before they've even started. Because when you start delivering, one of two things is going to happen. A, you're going to go faster than expected, which means you're ahead of schedule, or B, you're going to be going slower than expected, which means you're behind. Slower than expected means we're going to have to flex on something. And Agile recommends flexing on scope. But if it's all got to be done, you can keep the original scope and you can also flex on date. Just be careful though, flexing on date perpetually is one thing that unfortunately we're really good at in software projects, and this is a really slippery slope. So try to flex on scope, but know if you need to, you can also flex on date. All right, let's take a look now building our very first Agile plan. Step 1, create your master story list. The first step of building any Agile plan is to build your master story list. If you're looking for ideas around how to do that, see our user story video where we talk all about story planning workshops. But basically, it's here where we identify everything our customers would like to see in their software and add it to our to-do list. Step 2 is about sizing things up. Here we're taking all of our user stories and sizing them up just like we did in our estimation video, small, medium, and large. We're not looking for year-long plans here. Keep it capped no more than 6 months. But we're basically just trying to get a feel for, are we talking about a 1, 3, or 6 monther here? Now, although our customers have the ultimate say in what gets built and when, we've got a duty to make suggestions here too and suggest any stories we think would be better to tackle sooner rather than later. To reduce things like architectural risk. Because by connecting the dots early and going end to end, we can learn a lot about systems, really, and how to best build them. So don't be afraid to speak up here. Your expertise and experience really matter. Now, with our prioritized, estimated to-do list in hand, we're almost ready to start talking dates. But before we can do that, we need to guess how fast you and your team can go. So we need to estimate your team's velocity. Agile planning works because we plan for the future based on what we've done in the past. And since we don't know how fast our teams can go, we have to start with a guess. Now, if all of our stories were the same size, this would be just as simple as stories per iteration. More often than not, however, our stories will vary in size, in which case it's going to be story points per iteration. Now, in the beginning, our velocity is going to fluctuate in our project. Don't panic. This is natural. After 3 or 4 iterations, your team will start to gel and get a feel for how quickly they can go. Now, there's no hard and fast rules for estimating your team velocity. Basically, ask your team what they think they can get done per iteration, and be sure to take into account things like your customer's availability and whether your team is co-located. Also, remind the team that the definition of done means getting everything done to actually ship a story. So that means analysis, testing, design, coding, the whole thing. And then finally, we get to pick some dates. Now you've got 2 options here. We can deliver by date or deliver by feature set. Deliver by date, which is preferred, means you draw a hard line in the sand and you say, no matter what, we're going to ship product by that date. And here we're flexing on scope. Delivery by feature set means we're going to focus more on a core set of features, but we're going to flex a little bit about the date. It's going to land somewhere between here and here. Phew! Once you've done that, created your master story list, sized it up, prioritized it, estimated your team's velocity, and picked some dates, you've got your very first Agile plan. So there you have it, Agile planning in a nutshell. It's no different than what we do when faced with a really busy weekend. Make a list, size things up, set some priorities, and start executing and updating the plan as you go. And, well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.